All right, men, welcome to today's episode of Strong Men, Strong Marriages, how to save your Christian marriage alone. So this is something people are looking for, and it's understandable, right? You want to save the marriage. You're not sure if your wife does or not. You're not quite sure how to go about things. So we're going to talk about that today, what you need to do. So my name is Mike Frazier, MD. I'm a psychiatrist and marriage coach, and I help high-achieving Christian men have more intimate marriages. So some wins from guys in my program, the Strong Men, Strong Marriages program. Guys are getting to the root of their relationship issues. So yeah, I didn't used to do this a lot, but now it's an important part of our program is going back to those early childhood experiences and kind of how those shaped the way you view relationships, um, how you see people as being there for you or not, and then how that shows up in your marriage. So when you can get to the root of that and find some healing there, it really starts affecting your relationships in really positive ways. And guys are experiencing that in the program. Wives are apologizing for their past behavior. So the vast majority of guys that come and join my program, Strong Men, Strong Marriages, they come in and their wife is not willing to or wanting to work on things. She doesn't want to go to counseling. She kind of is putting most of she just doesn't want to work on it. She wants space, that kind of thing. She's not really apologizing for her behaviors. But when guys take the lead and decide to become a better choice and to model being the type of guy they want to be, often their wives will follow, right? And they'll apologize for their behaviors and they'll start working on things. So, you can save your marriage alone by you taking the lead. It invites her to follow and also, grow herself and grow the relationship. So don't wait. It's kind of the bottom line of this episode. Don't wait and think, oh, I can't do anything unless my wife's up for it. It's not true. Okay, you take the lead. Guys are learning new conversation skills and helping things, quote unquote, go so well. Guys here that this conversation just went so well for him and was really a game changer for him and how he's relating to his wife. Because you do need to learn some relationship skills. For me this week, more hugs with my wife, been more physically connected, which has been great. And my son and I have been getting along a lot better. If you've been following for a while, that's a relationship I've been focusing on. And yeah, these past few weeks have been really good. So I'm excited for that. So what are you trying now? So right now, if you're like, man, how do I save my marriage alone? You're probably thinking, I don't know if I can, right? I think my wife has to change. You're kind of hoping she'll change, hoping she'll, end her affair with somebody else, hoping she'll forgive your affair or pornography use, hoping that she will, own some of her side of the problem, right? And apologize for some of her behaviors. Maybe you're asking your wife to change. Hey, let's go to counseling together. Hey, can you stop being with this other guy? Hey, can you have sex with me more often? Will you make those changes? And she's saying no, or she's not sure, or she's not doing it, right? And then you're frustrated. You're like, man, well, if she won't do that, what am I supposed to do? Maybe you're praying for your wife to change. Please change her heart. Last week we talked about praying to change your marriage and some things I think are more useful than praying for your wife to change, which is something you can't really control. You can pray for it, but there's other things you can do as well. The other thing you're probably doing is trying to explain to her why the marriage is worth saving. No, look, we got kids. Look, we got our finances. Look, it's going to be expensive. Trying to be logical with her about, why leaving is not a good idea, or why she should be having sex with you, or why, look at all the health benefits of having sex regularly, or look at the relationship benefits, that kind of thing. Or maybe you're kind of going the opposite approach. You're explaining to her why it's wrong and why it's hurtful to end the marriage. No, look at the damage this is going to do. You're going to hurt the kids. Look, kids are more likely to be depressed and have school problems if you're divorced. Or hey, they're looking at our marriage. I don't want to demonstrate to them a sexless marriage. That's a bad example for them. Look, all that's true. It's logical, right? But you kind of know if you're already trying this, it's not working very well. You're kind of trying to save the marriage alone, but you're kind of trying to do it by telling her why she needs to change. The other thing you might be doing is kind of thinking she's being weak, or she's giving up, or she's not working as hard as you. So you have this kind of internal dialogue, and even this idea of save the marriage alone kind of implies my wife doesn't want to work on it, or she's not going to work as hard as me. And that can lead to you starting to feel superior to her, feeling like you're doing more than her, feeling resentful towards her. The other thing you're probably doing is believing she has to change her behaviors for the marriage to work. Well, she just needs to have sex with me more. She just needs to forgive me for my mistakes. She just needs to end this affair with the other guy, right? She just needs to stop filing for divorce. She just needs to come back so we can actually work on things instead of running away and separating and saying we need space. We need to be together. How are we gonna work on things if she won't even interact with me, right? So, when you're trapped in that, it's you feel like you can't do anything. So the other thing you might be doing is asking her to go to counseling. Hey, can we just do some counseling together? Can we go on date nights? And then getting upset when she doesn't want to. No, I don't want to go. And then you're like, oh, well, there we go. That's proof she doesn't work as hard as I do. She's not willing to work on it. There's no hope. And so, yeah, you can get to where you feel like giving up. Well, what's the point? If she's not going to work on it, then I'm not going to work on it. Right? So all these things go on in guys' minds often, right? So why does this not work? So it doesn't work because you're trying to control something that you can't control, okay? And that's her, right? So her thoughts, her feelings, her behaviors. Okay, if you're wanting her, I just wanted to have sex with me more. I just wanted to end the separation. I just wanted to stop talking to that guy, right? When you have that as your motivation, you can't control that and you start becoming anxious because your brain's trying to answer an unanswerable question. And so that generates anxiety. Okay. So if I was just like, well, hey, like, how do I grow 20 inches tomorrow? Right. There's like, the answer is you can't really. And so if I'm constantly trying to answer that though, I become anxious. So same thing here. If I'm trying to answer, how do I get my wife to change? How do I get her to come back? Right. You can't really answer that until you start spinning, you start becoming anxious. Okay. The other thing you're doing is you're trying to change her, which means you are manipulative by definition, right? You're trying to change what she does. Okay. I want her to have sex with me more. I want her to come back. I want her to, do all this stuff, right? I want her to end the separation. I want her to end the divorce. Okay. So when that's your primary goal, okay, changing her, yeah, you become manipulative. Also, in the back of her mind, she's like, well, hey, maybe he's making some good changes, but like the only reason he's doing that is because I created some separation from him. And so if I come back, his motivation's gone. And so that's also true, right? If your main goal in changing or listening to this podcast or whatever is just to get her back, once she's back, what's going to motivate you to keep going? Basically nothing. And so she's got that in the back of her mind too. If you're like, well, I can't do this alone. She has to have her side and she's got to change, right? Um, you know, when she does come back, your desire to change is gone. So then you can start becoming desperate. Oh my gosh, like she can't leave me. She can't separate. We've got to have sex, right? So you start becoming really needy, really desperate. Okay. And then a lot of times they'll get angry or superior. Well, look at everything I'm doing. Why won't she put effort? Why won't she put effort in? I'm putting so much more effort in than her. What's she even doing? Right. So you start feeling angry, you start feeling superior, you start getting resentful. And then, yeah, becoming hopeless. Oh, like I'm trying so much, nothing's working. What's the point? Okay. So the reason why all this doesn't work, what's going to make your wife want to come back? What's going to make your wife want to work on the marriage? Okay. So sure, there's some spiritual elements to that. There's some kind of like, hey, I made these promises and I should probably keep them. But what's going to make her like excited to want to change or come back is you being more attractive to her, you making yourself a better choice for her, right? So when you are feeling anxious, manipulative, desperate, angry, superior, resentful, hopeless, like all of those emotions are not attractive. They don't feel good, first of all, and they're not attractive to her. Okay. She wants to get away from that. Okay. She wants distance from people that are anxious and manipulative and desperate and angry and superior and resentful and hopeless. And she does not want to be around that. Okay. So that's why this whole effort to change her is not working. Your feeling state and your intentions are problematic. They're not attractive. Okay. So what do you need to do instead? So you can save your Christian marriage alone. You totally can. Okay. God's on your side in this for sure. But how do you do it? Okay. We know how you don't do it. You don't do it by trying to convince her and, trying to answer the question in mind, how do I make her come back? Okay. Instead, you focus on what you can control, which is becoming a better choice for her. Okay. So good way to think about this is like, okay, so let's say like you're a house, okay, or you're in a house and you want your wife to come into that house. You can try to grab her and bring her into the house and tie her down to a chair, right? That's one way you could bring her into the house. But as soon as you untie her, she's going to want to run out of there and call the police, right? Or, okay, you can make that house really inviting. You can make sure it's clean. You can make sure it's decorated well. You can make sure it smells good. You can make sure it, has the type of kitchen that she likes, right? So when you make the house more inviting, look, she might still not come into it, and that's the scary part of all of this, right? She might not, but it's much more likely that she will come in, and when she comes in, that she's going to stay because it's just a better house. Okay, so focus on making the house great. In other words, focus on making yourself a great choice. Okay, or a great car, right? So instead of, so yeah, if your house is like a tough shed, and you're trying to force her to get into it, yeah, I mean, work on the house, make it into a mansion. Okay, work there, and then invite her into it, right? Don't try to force her into a tough shed. Or like, instead of trying to, hey, like, come get in my car, and this like, so my first car was this orange pickup truck, and it was a mess. Like, you tried to roll the window down, it opened the door when you rolled down the window. So I could invite girls into that car, right? And like, in high school, it's different than in like later on in life. But if I went around like that now, hey, come jump in my car, and girls are like falling out the door when they roll the window down, they probably want to stick around that long. So instead of trying to get more girls into my junky car, I should probably just make the car better, fix the door, make sure it has a good sound system, make sure it's efficient and effective, right? And now when I invite a girl into that car, okay, yeah, she's going to be more likely to want to come into it. Okay. So again, like, you can't force her to get into the car. You can't force her to get into the house. That's called kidnapping. But that's the approach that a lot of guys take when they try to save their marriage. I have to like kidnap my wife. I have to make her stay. Okay. She's just going to want to escape. So instead, just make it inviting. Okay. Hey, here's my house. It's beautiful. Okay. I'd love for you to come join me in it. Hey, here's my house. It's fast. It's clean. It looks good. Right. I'd love for you to come take a ride with me. Right. So again, you can't control if she chooses. You can't control if she comes into that house. You can't control if she comes in that car, but you can control if you're a great choice. You can't control if you've built that house in a beautiful way, if you built that car in a beautiful way. Okay. So that's where you need to focus. So what does that look like on a practical level? So women overall, they're attracted to strength, and strength feels better as a man, right? So when we talk about strength, I talk about different areas. So one is spiritual strength. Spiritual strength to me has to do with your relationship with God. It has to do with being a man of your word, being trustworthy. Um, Mainly those two things, right? But then inside of that too, there's three things that I've split these up. So self-worth, which is your just inherent value, connecting that to God, and that's given to you. You don't have to work on it. Like, you're a beloved son of God, and He's well pleased with you just because you exist. Like, as I've been spending a lot more time with that, that's been huge for me. So self-worth, self-esteem is how you talk to yourself. Okay, if you're constantly beating yourself up, you're going to rely on your wife and others to build you up. So you need to manage that, the way you talk to yourself, and you're talking to yourself in a good, positive way. And then self-confidence. Self-confidence comes from making and keeping your word, right? We talked about that a little bit. And also building skills. Okay, when you build skills, when you do new things, that's how you become more confident. Okay, you can't think your way into becoming more self-confident. You have to do things to become more self-confident, but you can't do your way into having more self-worth or self-esteem. Like, you have to just kind of think that, believe that, and experience that too. Experience some of that love from God, and that builds your self-worth also. So that's spiritual strength. So just doing that, right? If you can be a guy who feels great about who he is, who has a great relationship with God, who's filled with the love of God, like, you're already going to be super attractive. If you're a guy who keeps your word, you're already super attractive just by building spiritual strength. Okay, but then we go further, we build mental strength. We get really good at managing your thoughts. So you're not going down these rabbit holes and spinning in anxiety and all that, right? Then you get better at emotional strength. So how do I feel my emotions? How do I release them in ways that are healthy, not problematic, or not bottle them up until they explode, or I like do weird things to escape from those emotions, like turn to pornography or other women or whatever. So managing your spiritual strength, mental strength, emotional strength, Physical strength, right? Doing some physical exercise each day, that builds your mentally emotional strength too, mental emotional health. And then sexual strength, owning your sexuality, using that in a healthy way. So when you build those strengths up, you're pretty much there. Like you're a guy who's very attractive to your wife. Like you've built a house that is a mansion that girls will want to come in and visit and be a part of, right? Or a car that's that Ferrari or Lamborghini or Tesla or whatever your favorite car is. But on top of that, right? So you're already that. But then once the girl gets into the house or gets into the car, okay, now you need to be able to interact with her. So you need to build your communication skills. How do I listen to her well? How do I express myself? How do I get to win-wins? And then the intimacy part, how do I have fun? How do we have flirting? How do we bring that passion? Have that physical connection that makes marriage special. Okay. So that's what we learn in Strong Men, Strong Marriages. We go through and we build internal strength. We build communication, intimacy skills. And then you're all set. Like you're a great catch. Okay, you're the great house. And once the girls come in, you have the skills to interact with those girls. Okay. And mainly when we talk about girls, we're really just talking about your wife. So for today, right, what you can do to apply this is really, instead of like, oh, hey, like here's why you got to come back, seek first to understand her. This is kind of a communication skill, a spiritual strength skill, let's say, too. It integrates a lot of the different strengths and skills. So seek to understand her. So why would it be wise for her to create distance from you? Really take some time to think about that. Like, what have you done? What have your thoughts, feelings, and actions been that have driven her away? And hopefully that earlier stuff can maybe give you some hints. Well, yeah, I have been resentful, or I have been superior to her, or I haven't really listened to her. So yeah, maybe it does make sense for her to create distance from me. So explain, like, understand that, try to understand that, even express that to her. Hey, like, I get why you're saying that you want space. I've done a lot of things that you would want space from. That makes sense. Like, I've been a junk car. I've been a tough shed instead of a house, right? Of course you'd want to go, to a different place. So then work on becoming a better choice, right? So you say, okay, like, I get why you wouldn't want to live in that tough shed. Let me build this into a better house. Okay. So do that work. And then, so seek to understand first, do the work to become a better choice, and then seek to be understood. So then explain why you choose her. Then explain, hey, like, look at all the good things in this house here, and then the benefits of being together. Hey, here's why I think it would be great for us to stay together, to set this example, to, stay together for the kids, to, show ourselves that we can work through difficulties, right? But it needs to go in that order, because guys will usually jump straight to explaining all the benefits without doing the first things, right? So there's a sequence called ethos, pathos, logos. So ethos is like being a guy of integrity, being a guy who can be trustworthy. Okay, that's that internal strength element. Next is pathos, which is understanding her. Again, most guys skip this. They just try to prove to their wife why she's wrong instead of trying to understand why she's creating distance. So if you'll do those two things first, try to understand her and be a great choice. Okay, now when you come and you try to explain, hey, like, here's the reasons why I think it'd be great to stay together, and here's why I choose you. Now she's way more open to that. Okay, but it has to go in that sequence. So bottom line, guys, you can save your Christian marriage alone. You absolutely can. Most of the guys in my program, they come in this situation. Okay, so here's the sequence. Step one: become a better choice. Okay, build your spiritual strength, spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, sexual strength. Build your communication intimacy skills. Be that great house, that great car. Okay, do that. Then try to understand her perspective. Hey, I get why you've created some distance. Here's all things I've done that have been a problem. Okay, then explain why you choose her and make your case, right? So the logical side, here's why I think it'd be great to stay together. Okay, so be the great choice, understand her, and then explain where you're coming from. Okay, and tell her that you choose her, and that is vulnerability, or that's like being known. It is kind of scary to do that. Hey, like, I choose you even if you don't choose me, and I'm kind of scared you won't choose me, but I do choose you anyway, and I want you to know that. Okay, that's strong. Okay, that's strong, letting her know you choose her. Okay, so come join us in Strong Men, Strong Marriages, and this is what we will walk you through this process. Okay, becoming a strong man, building that ethos, becoming the great house, the great car, understanding her, expressing yourself, making that case. Okay, and letting her choose you. Okay, the vast majority of men in the program are doing this alone. Okay, And a lot of times what will happen is they'll come in alone, and then like we shared in the weekly wins, wives will kind of follow along and say, hey, like he's changing, maybe I should change too, right? And so when they do that, they save their marriages by deciding, hey, look, I'm going to be a strong man. I'm going to learn these strengths and skills. I'm going to create a strong marriage. So if you're ready and willing to do that, if you want to take the lead, if you want to become a great choice, learn to understand her, learn to kind of make your case after becoming a great choice and understanding her. Ethos, pathos, logos, right? Focusing on becoming that great choice for her. Like you can save your marriage alone. You can save your Christian marriage alone, but you have to do these things, build strength, become that inviting home, right? And then be able to interact with her in a good, positive way, communicate with her, have intimacy skills with her. We'll teach you how to do that. So come join us. Visit strongman.io or visit the link in the show notes. Apply to join today. You'll fill out an application. We'll get back to you with your best next steps. All right. Stay strong, man, and we'll see you next episode.